Getting 22 preschoolers to attend to your lesson is quite a feat. Here are some of the things that I've learned over the years that work for me. Number one is that you need to make sure that your lesson is the right amount of time. So for 3-year-olds, that might be 10 to 15 minutes. For myself, I have some older 4s and 5s this year, so I'm getting up to about 30 minutes per lesson, and they can easily do that. So make sure that you have the correct expectation of your students. Next, with 22 of them, I know there are some preschoolers that let students lay on their bellies, up on their knees, but I've tried that before, and with 22 of them, it just doesn't really work. Then I have friends behind complaining that they can't see, and it really just interrupts the learning. So during that, I always tell my students, this is your small amount of time during the day that I need you kind of sitting and listening. So we sit crisscross applesauce, your hands are in your lap, your eyes are on the teacher, and you're being quiet. So the way that I get their attention is I say all set, and they say you bet. Now recently I've been adding some different tones to it, and it's really fun. I'll say all set, and they say you bet, or I'll do it all set, you bet. So that's really fun. So that's kind of how I get their attention. Now yesterday they were really talkative. They were kind of not paying attention at all. So I just sat there quietly and waited until they realized, like, oh, what's going on? The teacher's not saying anything. And then I also found a student that was sitting crisscross applesauce. His eyes are right on me because I was sitting up there, and I said, oh, Matthew, thank you so much for knowing exactly what to do. I'm sitting up here ready to teach, and you're showing me that you're ready to learn. And then as soon as I said that, I moved him up on the star, and every single friend in the class, everyone, was sitting perfectly. I always try to notice and praise the good behaviors that I want to see. The question here is, talk about circle time challenges with students with ADD or have a hard time paying attention. I'm hoping that the majority of my students are able to be engaged and to sit for that amount of time, but there are going to be some that just can't, and that's okay. So number one, I know that it might seem opposite of what a lot of people do, but I do not put that child in the front because they're distracting the other kids. They're kind of jumping and bouncing all over. I actually put them in the very back of the room. And then my aide in the classroom can come help out with that. So he's the one that can be up on his knees. He can have a fidget toy, but nobody's going to really see him because he's not center of attention up front. Also, again, I'm going to praise this child for each small victory. So if that child is, yeah, they might be moving all over the place, but maybe they're not yelling out. I'm going to praise that child. Thank you for working really hard during our circle time. Those are just a few things that I do during my circle time. If you'd like more, I can do some more videos on this, but hopefully that was helpful.